There's a lot of new faces to be seen wearing the Galahad Chiefs colours in 2016. What was the process and why have you made these selections?
It's a massive process. Obviously, we contract throughout the year, and there's a massive turnaround for us this season. A lot of experience leaving with guys like Liam Messam, then probably younger fellas like Ben Tamifuna and Tom Marshall, Michael Fitzgerald, guys who've probably had 4 or 5 years at this level who have picked up massive contracts in the UK, which is great for them. But similar to 2012, I think we had 16 new players that year, and this year we're going to have 15. So with that comes excitement. We've picked up some good boys out of Canterbury, Nipolo Lala and Dominic Bird, Tom Sanders. And we've got some good young kids who we think have got the sort of skill sets and the character to go really well at this level.
There's a few very new young faces in there that you've obviously identified some talent in. Who are those and why did you pick?
Yeah, there's a heap. Like I say, there's 11 guys going to make their debut, so it's pretty exciting for them and their families. There's a guy named Mitch Karpik who's played open side for Auckland. Was New Zealand 20s open side this year and unfortunately got injured and came home from that tournament. But he's been a real standout throughout the ITM Cup. He started every game for them and so he's had a lot of minutes and been really impressive. So, you know, what we like in him, he's very good post-tackle, steals a lot of pillow, slows it down. He's really comfortable with ball in hand from a continuity point of view, and he's a terrific young man. So we were really impressed with him when we sat down with him a few months ago. And so, I know there'll be a few people scratching their head up north as to why he's not wearing a Blues jersey next year, but so we're pretty excited by that. Another guy actually from the same union, Lenny Sue, who again not a lot of people probably know much about Lenny. He's probably only started a couple of games. Most of us were cameos off the bench. He's a 6 lock, got a strong basketball background. He'd be one of the most comfortable line-out forwards in the country. He's outstanding. But he's a big, tall, athletic, comfortable with ball in hand, running in wide channels, and it's a sort of skill set that we were looking for to complement what we've got in their other Lucies. So, look for him to hopefully develop quickly.
There's a nice mix of youth and experience in the squad named today, and I see a returning player with a lot to offer. Yeah,
so if you're referring to Stephen Donald, Beaver's back. I had a good chat to him a few months ago. Obviously, he's been playing in Japan. He was in Bath prior to that. He's pretty keen to come back. Loves the Chiefs jersey and certainly worn it with pride. He's desperate to win a title, and I think that maybe that's one thing with him going away. He missed out on the success in 2012 and 13, but he's got a lot to offer our boys. Obviously, very experienced. He's played 85 games for the Chiefs, and so we've got high expectations of him, not just on the field, but his influence off the field. He'll have a bit of a role to play to continue the development of Damian McKenzie and so on. So he's a really good man. We're really excited to have him back in the fold.
You've selected a good representation from around the Chiefs region, and within that you also have a good number of current and former All Blacks.
Yeah, so I think we've picked 26 from the Chiefs region. So, obviously Taranaki counties, Bay of Plenty and Waikato. So that's a really good blend. I think 6s and 7s from each of those teams. So that's exciting for us. It highlights that there are players coming through this region. There's been obviously some good recruitment done by the PUs and our development plan and guys coming out of our development team. There's some good numbers in amongst that as well. So that's really good. I think, again, if you look at some of those guys who are new, so Sam Vaka plays the counties, New Zealand Sevens, or All Black Sevens rep. So, he's played for our development side in the past. I guess there's a host of others. We look at a couple of other young fellas. We picked up a guy named Latu Vaino, who's playing on the wing for Taranaki. Was at Rotorua Boys a couple of years ago. So, he's firmly entrenched in the Chiefs region, and he's had a good debut season. He's 20s, he's showing a lot of promise and quite a big kid. So, excited to have that sort of young man in our mix as well. So, the All Blacks, I think we've got a dozen guys who've played for the All Blacks at some stage. I'd say 7 of those guys have only sort of played 1, 2, 3 tests. But, as it happens with an All Black World Cup year, you get a lot of people leaving and opportunities open up, and I'm sure a lot of those guys would love to cement their positions and play a lot more in the All Black jersey. And so when you look at guys like, say, Brad Weber and Charlie Ngatai made their debuts this year, Nepo Lalala, guys like Dominic Bird and Hicker Elliott and Nathan Harris have had sort of little cameos. To mix them with guys like, say, Sam Cane and Aaron Cruden, Brody Retallick, who are pretty entrenched in that All Black environment.
And great to see Kerr Barlow coming back from injury and making a few appearances over there. And Aaron Cruden obviously will be ready to be playing again at the start of the season. Yeah,
so Tawara, just phenomenal story, because the injury, he tore his hamstring off the bone. He did a PCL, an MCL, and LCL. I hadn't even heard of an LCL. So it was a horrific injury. And the work that he did to come back, he was doing, say, 4 sessions a day. So we might start our day at 7 in the morning, but Tawara's already had a session prior to that. He'll have a passing session at, say, 5 or 6. So he'll be in the gym rehabbing. He'll be doing some other skill work. He'll be doing a little bit of conditioning and more rehab and so on. So there's not many people who could have come back and been ready for a World Cup. So that just tells you a lot about the character of the man. He's a pretty special fella, and good to see that he's sort of jumped over the top of TJ Perenara, and nice to see him get a couple of dot downs in that quarterfinal.
Squad member named today as a super sub from the Bay of Plenty. Can you tell us a little bit about Austin Manning?
Yeah, so it's something really cool for us to be involved in supporting Austin Manning. So he's a little 7-year-old wheelchair-bound cerebral palsy kid who hails from Mount Maunganui. I know the family, so his mother used to be married to a chap I coached in my Wellington days, and so we've been well aware of their situation. Helen's in remission from cancer, so it's been a reasonably tough life. I know at one stage Brett was off work looking after both of them, and got another son, Thomas, who's a wonderful young man. He's about 15 years old and loves his brother to bits. So when we spoke to them about what they were going through and this opportunity to go to St. Louis, so they've got that operation in May. And really, they've talked about raising 100,000, but realistically, it's probably 120,000. So they've got the community involved, and they're getting some good support, but they're still under 20,000. And we thought it's something that we can get behind. We do a lot of work for a variety of charities, and we know that with this one, we can make a real difference to Austin's life and to the life of his family. And so it's just something great to get behind. So we're going to obviously do a bit of work with them.